My mother demanded my 1.2 million house, so I sent one photo to the family chat. You owe me your life, Althea. The least you can do is sign over your house. That was the message my mother sent to our family group chat. 26 relatives saw it, and within minutes, they were all attacking me. My mother claimed I was heartlessly evicting her from her home. She said I owed her for everything she had sacrificed for me. Then she gave me an ultimatum. Sign my $1.2 million house over to her by Friday, or she would never consider me her daughter again. Everyone expected me to panic, beg, apologize. Instead, I opened my laptop because my mother had made one very serious mistake. She had lied to a corporate investigator, and I knew exactly where to look. My name is Althea. I'm 33, and I investigate financial fraud for a living. My mother, Francine, always treated my older brother Desmond like royalty. Desmond was 35, unemployed, and constantly launching some brilliant business idea. According to my mother, he could do no wrong. But when she suddenly claimed she was about to become homeless, something didn't make sense. She had spent years bragging that her house was completely paid off, so why was she demanding my $1 million home? I checked the public property records. 5 minutes later, I found something terrifying. Mother had taken out a $500,000 loan against her house, and the bank had already issued a notice of default, but that still didn't explain where $500,000 had gone. So I investigated Desmond's company, and that's when everything changed. His so-called technology startup wasn't successful. It was barely real. The money had been spent on luxury cars, expensive trips, and risky investments. But there was still another problem. The numbers didn't match. My mother owed far more than $500,000. Then I remembered my grandmother. Marjorie was 82. My grandfather had created a medical fund specifically to protect her future, and my mother was the person managing it. I checked the records. My blood went cold. $250,000 had been transferred from my grandmother's medical fund into Desmond's company, and the signature authorizing the transfer, it wasn't my grandmother's. It had been forged. Suddenly, my mother's demand for my house made perfect sense. She didn't want my house because she was homeless. She wanted to sell it to cover up what she had stolen. And there was one more problem. A state audit of my grandmother's medical fund was scheduled for 10 days later. My mother was running out of time, so instead of confronting her, I went to Grandma. I showed her everything. She didn't cry. She simply walked to an old cedar chest, opened it, and pulled out a folder. Inside was the original bank statement. Then she looked me directly in the eyes and said, "My own daughter will not be the one to destroy me." The next morning, we hired an attorney. We gathered every document, every transfer, every forged signature, every threatening message. And then my mother announced something in the family group chat. A mandatory dinner, Friday night. All 26 relatives would attend. According to her, I would sit at the table and sign my house over to her in front of everyone. So I replied with only 2 words. I agree. Friday arrived. 26 relatives packed into a private dining room. My mother sat at the head of the table, pretending to be devastated. Desmond placed the property deed and a silver pen directly in front of me. Then the accusations started. They called me selfish, heartless, ungrateful. They told me to save my mother. I said nothing. I let them talk because I was waiting for one thing, for every single person in that room to believe my mother's story completely. Finally, the room went silent. My mother pushed the pen toward me. Sign it. I looked at her. Then I reached into my pocket, but I didn't pick up the pen. I picked up my phone. I opened the family group chat and uploaded one photograph. 26 phones chimed at exactly the same time. Everyone looked down, and within seconds, my mother's entire story collapsed because on that photograph were 3 things: the bank's default notice, the $250,000 transfer from Grandma's medical fund, and the forged signature. Across the top, I had written one question: where did Grandma's money go? My mother stopped breathing. Desmond knocked over his glass. Nobody said a word. Then I stood up and told them something that changed everything. I'm not giving you my house to help you hide a crime. But what happened after I walked out of that restaurant was something none of them expected, because Grandma wasn't finished, and what she did to her own daughter next made the entire family turn against my mother. If you want to know exactly what was inside Grandma's folder, what happened when the authorities arrived, and how Francine and Desmond finally lost everything, watch the full story, because that one photograph was only the beginning.